Hi there. Well, welcome back. We're having our absolutely fantastic series of the Art of You interview series here. And with me today, I have Kris Emery, all the way from New Zealand. And I'm really honored to be able to say that Kris is a writer, a coach and an author, and what she does is she just helps people to be able to really and truly bring out the message that they need to on their websites or in any other format that they feel that they want to. Kris, welcome here, and it is so good that you've joined me here today. I'm really hoping that you'll inspire and encourage my audience as well, because you as yourself are a solopreneur and you've been working in your industry for quite some time now. So please, let's start off with you. Won't you just tell me a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure. Hi. I am, as you said, a writer and editor, and I used to call myself a freelancer. So I would freelance in the writing industry, and now I more call myself an entrepreneur because I'm taking it bigger this time around. So I help mainly entrepreneurs to be able to express their voice, their true voice, and get their message across in several kind of formats, lots of them online formats such as ebooks and articles and stuff like that. So yeah, and I'm also doing some editing. So it depends on how much the client actually can or wants to write themselves as to how much I get involved. So I sometimes write on people's behalf, and also I'll sometimes just tidy things up if somebody actually enjoys writing for themselves but just needs some kind of helping hand to express themselves.
That sounds absolutely fabulous. Now tell me, how did you actually get into this industry? Give me a bit of background on your story. What made you do something as unique as this?
Okay, so my background is actually languages. I trained as a translator, and the one thing that I really got out of my translation degree was not that I wanted to do translation at all, because it's quite dry, it can be quite technical, but I did lots of linguistics when I did that, analysing texts, and I found that the most interesting part of language for me was manipulating the language and all of these different ways that people can express things, and really speaking to certain audiences as well, and making it readable for certain audiences. So I actually never went into translation. I went straight into writing, and I used to do corporate writing in London. And that was also, I'd say, quite dry, but it really gave me some great exposure to lots of different industries. So I've written for the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and lots of the financial institutions in London. So it gave me the ability to work to a really high level and understand deadlines which come really, really quickly in the kind of industry that I'm in. So that's my background, like doing corporate writing, but I really wanted to transfer that over to doing something creative, and realised that I wasn't necessarily the best employee because I didn't really enjoy. Chris Guillebeau uses that phrase, and I've latched onto it because it's so beautiful. It's not that I don't like working for a company. It's just that I want to be calling the shots in my business, and I kind of always knew that deep down. So that's that's how I ended up doing what I was doing. So I first of all went freelance from the corporate writing thing, and then got a bit more creative with it and decided to take it bigger.
That sounds absolutely fabulous. And I so get it, wanting to have to do your own thing and not have somebody peep over your shoulder all day long, dictating your hours and telling you what to do, and, you know, putting sort of like guidelines around you where you can work in your own space. And as a writer, you probably have a lot of creativity going on as well. A woman who knows that she needs to be in the driver's seat.
Yeah,
that's good.
Me, definitely. And I think most people who meet me would definitely tell you that that's the kind of person that I am.
Do you like fast cars too?
I wouldn't say so, I don't think, but in the metaphorical sense, I definitely am the driver.
That's good. Tell us a bit about the coaching side of the business.
Okay, so um, part of the jobs that I've done in the past have always involved a bit of training other people to do what I do, and that's basically where I am with the writing. So there are lots of people who want to go freelance who are in jobs that they aren't necessarily that inspired by, or who, like me, just want to call the shots and work their own hours and decide their own destiny, really. And I know that it's not easy in those first few months and the first year even. In fact, you know, I went back in-house myself because it wasn't quite right the first time around, I'll admit that. And so I coach other freelancers to do the very best job that they can of freelancing. And that's quite often women writers, editors, transcribers, that kind of thing, anybody who is looking to set themselves up on their own. And it's been interesting because I've actually, as well as them relating to my story, I can also learn a lot from them. So I just really enjoy the coaching side of my business. It's quite new, that side of my business. I've just written my book, which I've actually got here. I can show you. Freelance Your Heart Out. So this is the kind of story, my sort of story and my background in freelancing. And a lot of people find me that way and kind of identify with where I've been and that kind of thing. So kind of, I guess, realise that I can help them. And yeah, so that's where that's going. And that's, I'm definitely looking to ramp that up in 2013, because in 2012 it's just been about writing the book and getting it out there and getting people to notice it. But yeah, the coaching is really stepping up from January.
That's fantastic. So if anybody wanted to use your services, who specifically would you be targeting? Who is your ideal client?
I've kind of got three.
Okay.
So because there's a couple of different sides to my business. I target different people. So obviously with the writing, it's people who don't want to write for themselves.
Yes.
Don't have time, don't have the inclination, don't have necessarily the skill to get their voice out the way that they really want it to, and make it look as they sound, if that makes sense. So like most people come across in person quite differently to how they do on a page, and some people they might sound a little bit stuffy or a little bit just uptight. They just can't quite get on the page the same way that they speak. So that's what I do for those kinds of people. They're quite often entrepreneurs or small business owners who don't have a lot of time to really practice that, but know that their copy is a really big thing, a big part of what they need to do, especially if they want to write an ebook for their business or a series of ebooks for their business. That's quite a good way of getting their marketing going in that respect. Then the editing is quite a lot of people who already have something written down, obviously, and they want to write something themselves, but they just need someone to glance over it and tell them how it can be improved, or even to improve it for them. So just ensuring the consistency and the style to a great extent, and also making sure it's accurate and checking that kind of thing. So that would be the same group of people, same sort of people like entrepreneurs, but just who are inclined to write rather than aren't inclined to write. And then the third group of people are freelancers themselves.
There must be some challenges that you have already experienced in your business. Are you happy to share one or two challenges and fears that you've had in your business with our viewers?
Definitely, yeah. There have been a few. Actually, the thing that springs to mind as my biggest challenge was actually when I was writing my book, and I was just ready to publish. In fact, I'd kind of put the word out. I was in the middle of launching, and I was sent a cease and desist letter, saying that I couldn't promote my book anymore. They didn't want me to promote my book anymore because the title was similar to something that was already out there. So that was a huge, big deal, because you're used to, in a job, in a 9 to 5 type thing, you're used to having colleagues around you to bounce ideas off and people to escalate to. But when you're an entrepreneur, it's all down to you. So this letter hit me like a ton of bricks. I wasn't quite sure what to do first. I wasn't quite sure how seriously to take it and even where to start overcoming that challenge. So my instinct, being the person that I am, was to fight. And it's taken me a long time to realise that you don't have to fight every battle. And I think as an entrepreneur, you really have to hone that, knowing which battles to choose. And definitely, I'd say trusting that you've got more coming and that you don't have to fight everything, and where to put your resources and your energy, because you have to manage your energy yourself. There's only you to rely on. So I'd definitely say that, especially when it came to the title of my book, trusting my creativity was a huge breakthrough for me, because in the past, as I say, I would have just fought it, and I had to just go, no, let it go.
If you had to do all of this all over again, and you had to choose your career and just do what you've been doing, is there anything that you would change or do differently in the process?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
And I think it's just to start earlier. It takes a long time to gain the confidence and to build up a lot of the stuff that you need to build up. I mean, no website starts with all of its content, and no business starts with all of its clients. It takes a lot of time to build those things, and you only need one client to become a business, but you can't stay with just one client forever. So there's a very long process, and I always wish I'd just started earlier, gone freelance earlier, or stuck at it and not gone back to the office and that kind of thing. But just start as soon as you can.
That's fabulous advice. And one of the things as well you've just said is that you having one client doesn't necessarily mean that you've become a business. You need to grow those clients and increase your clientele. How do you do that? How do you actually actively promote your business so that you can get more clients?
Okay. Well, as a freelancer, I actually started out on job boards, but I didn't find them very successful. In fact, I always tell my freelancers who come to me to kind of avoid them and to network. And networking has by far been my biggest asset, my attribute, or any kind of positive way that I've got clients and referrals for sure. Like I market my business online because it's completely based online, but people talk, and word gets around, and the most successful relationships I've had, I've definitely met people in person, and they've been able to refer me on, especially for the kind of thing that I do, writing people's stories, writing people's words, coming across as them, and trying to get their voice out. They have to trust me a lot, so it's great having a website, which I do, and it's great having social media, which I do as well, and it is a very important part of my marketing. But I would say that it takes a lot longer to get to the point where clients trust me, because I'm kind of speaking for them in a sense.
Yes.
Through the words that I select and the way that I write for them. So, and if they're telling their story, it can be quite personal. Lots of female entrepreneurs who want to write ebooks for their own businesses have a personal story, and that's how they came to entrepreneurship in the first place. And so there's quite often like personal things that come through in the writing that I need to be really sensitive about and make sure that they're comfortable talking to me. So I would definitely say that it's about getting to know my clients and having referrals rather than just simply it being a numbers game, because it's important that they have that trust.
Now, what advice would you give to anybody that's starting out in business? I know that you've touched on there to be really honest and really and truly clear, but there must be more. Do you have a little bit of advice, a golden nugget to share?
Yeah, I would say, because it's so much about perseverance, do a little bit of something easy that will move you ahead every single day. In particular, for me, I would say write something every day. But that's just because where I'm coming from. I don't know if that necessarily is going to apply to everyone watching this. So, yeah, definitely do a little bit of something every day that is going to get you ahead, because you can come up against stuff that will get you stuck. And I know when I first started out freelancing, it was really tough to move beyond certain things, and I let it kind of become the main thing that was holding me back from doing stuff like writing a business plan. Oh my god, don't get me started. I saw it as this mammoth task, and I couldn't do anything else with it still on my to-do list. So in the end, I actually just scrapped it and did something that I could actually make progress on, because like making progress is what's going to give you that momentum to keep going and the confidence, you know. Like, it's really important that you are seeing some, even if they're just tiny results.
Yes.
Seeing something happen.
Yeah. And so if there was one resource that you could not do without in your business, what resource would that be?
I don't know if this is copping out, maybe, but can it be a person?
Well, it can.
Okay, I would definitely say my network, for sure.
Yeah.
Because people are just really powerful. You can tell your own story until you're blue in the face, but it never has the same power, you saying all the stuff that you're saying, as one other person vouching for you. So having a really great network, I just couldn't be without. Like, I work with coaches. I have a team of people who help me do my website, my design, and that kind of thing. But it's not just about the people that I'm paying to do stuff for me. It's also like then who they know. Yes. And then who they know, and I'd say my network of people, and not just online, but in the real world. That's not a very good way of expressing that, I suppose. But just talking about what you do the whole time to everyone. It's amazing the connections that you can make, and the similarities between you and whoever, or, you know, your next door neighbour could be an entrepreneur, you just never know. So it would definitely be the people I know.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's the support and the energy that you derive from those people as well, that some days when you're not feeling like wanting to go out there and put yourself out there, these are the people that you can rely on to give you that little bit of a boost, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs and other sort of positive people is really, really important. And you know, people do like such a wealth of different things, and you can learn so much from people that you never expected to learn from. And so, yeah, like, they're just so important. To don't feel on your own. It's easy, like, we're going back to the whole isolation thing. It's really easy to feel alone if you're working from home, and you know, you might have a partner or family, and they don't mean to not get it, but they might, if they're not entrepreneurs themselves, they might not quite get what you're saying to them a lot of the time, and that's where entrepreneur friends can come in really handy, because much as they love you, your family aren't always the people to go and vent to, or try and explain things to.
Oh, that is so true. That is so true. Thank you for sharing that with us, Kris. I'm sure many people can relate.
Entrepreneurs who are in that position.
Yes, definitely. Now, for anybody who's watching or listening right now, where can they connect with you or make contact with you? Do you have any websites that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, sure. So it's just my name, krisemery.com. And I'm also on Facebook and Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, you name it. I've probably got an account on this.
Now, if there's just one last thing that you would like to leave us with, what is it? One little last golden nugget that you can share with us in closing.
Okay. Just don't give up.
Don't
it's
give up.
not going to happen immediately. It could. That would be exceptionally lucky, but just keep going. Honestly, just don't give up.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us, Kris. It really has been wonderful having you here today. I'm sure that we have many, many insights that have come from this conversation that people can pick up and apply immediately in their business as well. It's good to hear that you're somebody who is strong, following your passion and your heart, and that you're doing it on your terms as well. It gives others hope that they can do it as well. So thank you once again for coming, and I really and truly look forward to following your successes.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Cheers.